Hey guys, this is Chris from Rekkid Talk with another episode of I Buy Old Records. So these are going to be some vinyl finds. These are the theme this time is I buy free jazz. It wasn't free, so there's going to be some free jazz, some experimental music, avant-garde music, and some black jazz in this particular video. And again, this is stuff I bought at various times over the last 2 or 3 months. This isn't like it all came in one shipment. So the first thing I'm going to show is this Pharoah Sanders record. So Deaf, Dumb, Blind, Summon, Buckman, Umyun. That's supposed to be Arabic for Deaf, Dumb, Blind. So this is kind of a classic free jazz record from the early 1970s. I have this anthology reissue. I'll be honest, uh, people were complaining about it online before I ordered it. Then I ordered it, and I kind of see where they're coming from. Um, the original pressings were pretty expensive, especially to get one that was in decent shape. Maybe I should have sprung on this one, but it's still a pretty cool record. I also got some uh, Gregory Manchur African concepts. And so Gregory Manchur was not a guy who was the leader a lot, but he played trombone. Um, and so he was the leader on this particular record and a few others. And again, this one also came out vintage early 70s. Saying 1980 on here, but I think this was a 1980 reissue on this Piccadilly record label. That's not the original label it was on. So, and so there's definitely, again, Gretchen Moncur is somebody he'd been with Herbie Hancock for a while. He'd been with Ray Charles for a while. Other folks, and there's a pretty heavy African sort of theme going on in here, but it's pretty free jazzy as well. And then from the same person I got that from, I was just looking at what they were selling for cheap, and I got a couple of sort of these experimental avant-garde albums from the same record label, Ehse Records, which is in Baltimore, Maryland. Both of these came out in about 15 years ago. I think these both came out in 2006. And the one that I like better of the two, Trockeneis 5025 AD. Apparently, that's the calendar for 5025 on the back. And then, basically, most of the information, pretty much all the information you get, is printed on the label to the A side. And so the instrumentation is bowed metal, dry ice with heated metal, musical saws, percussion, voice. I give the names of the musicians: Dan Breen, Audrey Chan. I've seen a video. She does some unholy screaming. I will link that up. Andy Halek, Paul Neidhart, maybe he's from the Neidhart wrestling family. Catherine Pancake. I'm gonna guess that's not her real name, but this was pretty cool. If you like $75 bill, that's something I was turned on to recently by Russ at Mama's Records. You might like this Trockeneis as well. And I only paid, I think, $4 for it. And then the other one, which is also by that same sort of obscure record label from Baltimore, and the Discogs buyer I bought this one was from Baltimore, so this was recorded in Baltimore Spring in 2005. Jenny Graf Bibula and Chiara Giovando. They were called Hirius. I think this was part of sort of a avant-garde film that was made. Was not as enthusiastic about that. And then I also picked up some black jazz along the way. I had a few black jazz records I had gotten from Vinyl Me Please. I picked up a couple others directly from them. So the guy who started the label, Gene Russell, I love the way he's dressed here. I'm cool. Uh, and the Black Jazz crew, they just seem to be, um, we're like we're like the scrappy underdogs compared to Blue Note, but we're even cooler than those guys. So this has 1971 album that launched the legendary Black Jazz label. So Gene Russell on piano, Henry Franklin on bass, Steve Clover drums, Tony William on conga. Uh, Larry Gales was on bass on a couple of the songs rather than Henry Franklin. And Henry Franklin's known as the Skipper. And I picked up his album as well, The Skipper. So Gene Russell's was from 71. This is from 1972. And again, it's that very much that spiritual jazz vibe that you get from the Black Jazz crew. I also have a Walter Bishop Jr. and there's another one. Blank. Roland Haynes is the other one that I have. The one with the dueling electric pianos. And so we've got Henry Franklin on bass, Bill Henderson on electric piano, Mike Carvin on drums, Oscar Brashear, trumpet and flugelhorn, Charles Owens, tenor and soprano sax, Kenny Climax, guitar and electric tub, Fred Lito and Tip Jones, percussion. And so there's some pretty cool. I'd recommend picking up a couple of these Black Jazz albums if most of your stuff is from like the Blue Note, Verve, Riverside universe. So there's some pickups. Hope you liked some of them.